Good evening, and thank you for the hydration. So tonight we're going to be starting up game that I fully expect the VOD for to be muted. I've actually got the HD version from the collection. But from what I hear, it's not that good. So I got my hands on the Game Boy Advance copy instead. If memory serves, this is straight up just the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. Like, this is the cutscene that it ended on. Which, if this is a direct continuation, makes sense. Ahead lies something you need. I feel like if I'd seen this on my Game Boy Advance screen as a kid, I would have been... But to claim it, you must lose something dear. I feel like if I had seen this on my Game Boy Advance screen as a kid, I would have been blown away. Wow, 3D! Granted, it's pre-rendered, but still, yay, 3D. Fun fact, for a very brief time, they actually tried releasing, like, videos as Game Boy Advance cartridges. So you would, like, put it into your Game Boy and turn it on, and it would actually, like, play an episode of Pokemon on your Game Boy. The problem was they were ridiculously expensive, and nobody bought them. Looks like nobody's home. You sure we should just barge in like this? We have to if we're gonna find the king. The king? King Mickey is here. Maybe, maybe not. Something told me he'd be here, and that's all. Was it a mysterious man in a dark cloak, Donald? Really? But now that you mention it, I was thinking the same thing. Are you serious? So was I. One look at this castle, and I just knew. They're here. Well, what do you know? Great minds think alike, I guess. Guess again, this can't be mere coincidence. Why, Jiminy, don't tell me that. I felt it too. Gosh, maybe it's contagious. Or maybe something funny is going on. I think we should check it out. Okay. Hey, where are you going? To check it out. What's the matter? Scared? Don't be ridiculous. Come on, Goofy. Okay, but we should shut the door behind us. Sora! Who is that? It must be a Heartless. Let's see how it handles my magic. Thunder. Huh? That's odd. Thunder. Thunder. Fire. Blizzard? Also, thank you for... I almost said thank you for streaking. That's not the right way to phrase that. I don't get it. Why isn't my magic working? I should think it's obvious. The moment you set foot in this castle, you forgot every spell and ability you knew. Though the forgetting does not end here. In this place, to find is to lose, and to lose is to find. I'm going to learn everything here. That is the way of things in Castle Oblivion. Castle Oblivion? He taught them the name Sora like forgot his mother's face. Yes, here you will meet people you know, people you miss. Look, there's no one. Riku! You mean Riku? He is here! Do you want to find him? If you do... I got this guy's just aura farming. What did you do? I sampled your memories, and from them I made this. This is the key to reuniting with those you hold dear. What is this, a card? A promise. Use that card and press on. You will find your friend. Hold the card before you. The door will open, and beyond it, a new world. Yeah, just for reference, the only Kingdom Hearts game I've played is Kingdom Hearts 1. I vaguely know the plot of the overall series because people like talking about Kingdom Hearts, but I've never played this. Like this? Yes, go, Sora. To lose and claim anew, or to claim anew only to lose. I'd win. Come on, guys, let's go. Wait, this can't be right. We're in Traverse Town. Or Traverse Town. One or the other. It isn't reality that you see. This town is an illusion conceived by your memories ingrained in that card. My memories? Forget about that, Sora. We're 2 heads short. Donald, Goofy, guys, where are you? What did you do with them? They are at the mercy of the cards now. Master the cards and their strength will be yours again. The laws of this castle require that your friends be transformed into cards. If you value your friends, you will pick them up without fail. I don't think Donald's happy about being a card. Cards you pick up are added to the top of your stack. Use them and your friends will come to your aid. The cards you use vanish, but they will reappear to aid you time and again. Cards are the hearts of your friends. Art of the cards, Exodia. Everything in this castle is ruled by cards. Whether an enemy or a door stands in your way, cards are the only way to proceed. But you mustn't forget your own strength. I kind of paused on my frame, he's just like, yeah. I'm gonna get you. First, think for yourself. Move, then use the cards. Good. Every move you make causes a card to disappear. If you use up all of your cards, you will be unable to act. But there is a solution. Keep using cards until you run out, and I will show you. Imagine if I just killed him before my combo ended. There, you have no more cards, and without them, no power. If you want that power back, you must focus. Bid the cards return to you, and they will. Select reload and hold down A. Alright, straightforward. The strength of your heart brought back the lost cards. You can recall spent cards at any time, you need only wish it. But each time you do, the cards will take longer to return. The cards are by no means unlimited, use them wisely. Anticipate the flow of battle, and choose the most effective cards. You may use any card in your deck. The 4 card types you use in battle are grouped into 2 wider categories. first category includes attack cards, magic cards, and item cards. The second category consists entirely of enemy cards. Use cards from a different category. Cards will empower you whether you are attacking or defending, but it is up to you to decide when to attack and when to defend. Do not forget it. Are you two alright? Where have you been? You tell us. When you opened the door, there was this weird light, and the rest is a big blank. Well, try to remember what happened. I need to keep my journal up to date. Hey, wait a second. Donald, where'd you get the new duds? You too, Goofy. Somebody's been messing with our clothes. The cards again? That is for you to ponder. Master the cards and make your way through the castle. From here on, you walk alone. You mean we can't go with him? That's not fair. Yeah, Sora can't do anything without our help. Thanks a lot, Donald. You sure you'll be okay? Of course. You want me to go alone? Fine, I can take care of myself. Huh, the hero speaks boldly. Go then, the rest of Castle Oblivion awaits. Walk the avenues of latent memory, and you shall meet someone dear to you. Moon walks away. I have a really bad feeling about this. Relax, Jiminy. I'm ready for any tricks he's got up his sleeve. How hard can it be to figure out these cards? All I have to do is use one in front of that door over there. Perform the following actions in the field. Move, swing Keyblade, jump. To open doors in the field, strike them with your Keyblade. You fool. You said I had to use cards. Keyblade isn't a card. Obtained Key of Beginnings. Never mind. To proceed to the next room, you need a map card. Map cards are used to synthesize new unexplored rooms. First, select the map card you want to use. Moment's Reprieve, Key of Beginnings. Never mind. The number you see in the middle of the screen is the criterion for opening the door. The criterion displayed now means that the door will open with a value of 1 or greater. You need to pick a card that meets this criterion. Cards have marked values from 0 to 9. 0 cards, marked 0, are special cards which meet all criteria. The card without a marked value is a key card. Key cards are only used at special doors. There's a thing in the upper right showing me where the exits are. The swirling crystal in front of Sora is called a save point. Stand near it and press the A button to open the save menu. Aside from saving at a save point, you can also quick save anywhere in the field. Press start, choose quick save, and press A. Striking objects in the field with a Keyblade yields various results. Try striking the barrel. Inanimate objects aren't the only thing you can hit. Touching a Heartless on the field starts a battle, but you can strike the Heartless first to gain the upper hand. Okay, so basically Persona rules. Get bonked, nerd. Tranquil Darkness. Yeah, I guess I need to keep killing things so I can get cards to open doors. Makes sense. Looks like I can't use other skills while an ally's in play. We got another Tranquil Darkness. That's a caster type. You give a piece of advice that'll make no sense now but be a lifesaver later. Oh, hold on. I think if they're using a card, I'd use a card of a higher value. Okay. That makes sense, but it's also kind of concerning. If it's not like spoilery advice or backseaty advice, I guess it's fine. Meeting ground. Looks like a level up. I do not know what a slight is, or what CP is. I do know what HP is. This sounds like a cool thing, so I want to do this. Slide toward distant targets for a close-range attack. True, I probably just need card points, but I mean, like, I never received, like, a formalized tutorial for it. Tranquil Darkness 9? Okay, I'm getting the hang of things. How do I jump? Maybe I need to learn how to jump. There we go. Keep expecting like A to be jump, but it's actually B. Okay, I'm getting the hang of this at least. Whenever I see a caster, I want to kill it instantly. So you are a menace. I need to die. should also probably try to pay more attention to the numbers. I wonder if there's like rhyme or reason to the exits. This one requires a floor. I've got a floor. Yeah, like, I feel like I'm getting the hang of it, even though it's mostly just mashing A. It just makes it extra easy to get the hang of it. I'm gonna try and get my hit points above 100, I think. Make a deck of only 0 cards? That sounds like a good idea. Doors emblazoned with a crown are special doors. You need special cards called key cards to open these doors. But just having the key card isn't enough to open the door. You need the key card and 1 or more additional cards meeting certain criteria. Pick map cards that meet the criteria, and you can open the door. Okay, so I don't have the right key. Do I? Yeah, I don't. Alright. Also, I thought that these maps might be procedural, but maybe they aren't. Save 1 card of every color? My, what's good about 1? I thought it was 0 that beat everything. So the doors require an exact number? Gotcha. I'm inclined to save things anyway, so this is fine. Looks like doors stay open once I open them, so that's nice. So it looks like this game is mostly going to be grinding random encounters for cards and then proceeding forward. Reasonable enough, I suppose. Combat being a bit of a nothing burger just means that I can talk more. Captain Dex whenever I learn a new slate. Oh, is a slide something I have to equip? Because it said that I could slide, but I haven't figured out how to do that yet. Here we go. Fighting alone isn't as easy as I thought. of nowhere like that. It's not our fault. We don't know what's going on either. Gosh, your fighting's gotten kind of rusty. You sure you don't need us? I'm fine, honest. Think like that and you're as good as Heartless fodder. Is that, what's his face from Final Fantasy VIII? Yes, it is. Leon, it's you. What are you doing in Castle Oblivion? Castle Oblivion? What are you talking about? This is Traverse Town. And how do you know my name? I thought his name was Squall. I've never seen any of you before in my life. Quit playing, Leon. We all fought the Heartless together, you know that. Look, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't even know your names. You don't? Sorry. No, yeah, that's my name. I can't believe it. How can you have forgotten about us? Hey, I feel for you, but you've got the wrong guy. Happens all the time. Don't take it so personally, Sora. You do know his name. Now hold on. Why do I know your name? You think Leon's just kidding around? If he is, it's not very funny. Sora's really hurt. Who's kidding around, Goofy? You and Donald are the ones who... Speed? I don't get it. What's happened to my memory? I don't know, Leon. Maybe Aerith was onto something after all. Oh, there's Yuffie. She said she sensed some uncanny kind of power and asked us to look into it. And we looked. And this is as uncanny as it gets. Maybe we should bring Sora and the others to Aerith. Yuffie, you know my name? Yep, looks like you know mine too. A friend of yours? Nope, total stranger, but I definitely know his name. Strange, yes, but convenient. We can skip the introductions. Well, gee, Yuffie, I guess all of our problems are solved. Anyways, I'm gonna run ahead and fill Aerith then. Leon, you give Sora and the others the grand tour. See you later. I like Yuffie. Well, let's get on with it. Come on, follow me. Be careful though, there are still Heartless wandering around town. I better teach you how to protect yourself in battle. See the numbers printed on your cards? They range from 0 to 9. Higher numbers mean stronger cards. If you and your enemy both play a card at the same time, the higher card wins. Go on, try it out.
Here! 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 Here!
See how it works? Playing a card higher than your opponents and breaking through the defenses is called a card break. Playing a lower card results in your attack being deflected. Even powerful cards can be deflected if the enemy's card is higher. Whoever's on the losing side of a break is left wide open to attacks. Don't let that person be you. Cards with 0 as their value are special. No matter what card the enemy plays, you can break it with a 0 card. But you have to wait until after the enemy plays their card. If you play the 0 card too soon, the enemy can break it with any card they play. In other words, it's the most powerful card if it comes last, and useless if it comes first. Try to make the most of it. Card values also affect the cost of assembling a deck. Keep that in mind. Now it's time to teach you how to stock cards. You don't have to use battle cards one at a time. You can also assemble 3 cards and use them all at once. This is called stocking cards. Stocking cards and using them in 3s is much stronger than using cards individually. Go on, give it a try. Stock any 3 in your deck. Remember, you need 3 or it won't work. Press L and R simultaneously. The sum of your 3 stocked cards becomes the value that you play. The value is usually high and hard to break, and the combo attack deals a lot of damage. Don't hold back. Show me what you can do. Combo attacks aren't the only benefit of stocking cards. Choose your cards carefully, and you can unleash special abilities called slights. Slights come in all varieties, and each has its own unique card combination. You should try it out once you've collected more cards and learned a slight or two. But keep one thing in mind. Every time you use a sleight, you lose the first card you picked for the sleight. You can't reload it. The lost card won't return until the end of the battle. Relying only on sleights will cause your cards to run out. That means trouble. Think you got the hang of it, Sora? Yeah, more or less. I'll pick up the rest when I fight some real battles. Here, I found this laying around. You take it. Remember what I told you and make good use of it. Named Simba, and the Key of Guidance. Hey, there's actually some complexity to this combat system. I like it. I suppose I'd just be mashing A for however long this game is. That said, making a deck entirely of 0 cards actually sounds like exactly the sort of thing I would do. I will simply get good. Right, I'm getting my feet underneath me. Aerith, tell me you haven't forgotten me too? I don't know whether to say nice to meet you or good to see you again. It feels like a little bit of both. I don't think I know you, but I still feel like you belong here. Yeah, exactly. Like we've never met, but it still doesn't feel weird knowing your name. But I'm telling you, we have met. We took on the Heartless together. We were a team. It feels like you're right, but I can't remember. And I guess you won't remember what you told me. In Hollow Bastion, when I sealed the keyhole, we may never meet again. But we'll never forget each other. See, you do remember. He's right, Leon. I remember you saying that, too. I guess I can't write it off as a coincidence, then. I don't think I have any memory of it, but somehow I still remember. Maybe Sora's heart is doing the remembering for us. How does that work? We don't know you, Sora, but your heart is full of memories of us together. Those memories must resonate in our hearts, too. Maybe they tell us things we couldn't otherwise know. So you're saying that Sora's memories are affecting ours? His memories do seem to have a certain power. Maybe it's like that guy said, then. This town is just an illusion, something that my memories created. And there's someone special to you in this town? How did you... Ah, I get it. My memories are resonating with yours, telling you what happened. Anyway, yeah, a friend of mine is somewhere in this town. I mean, Castle Oblivion. Castle Oblivion? What's that? There aren't any castles in Traverse Town. That's not quite what I mean. Sora probably still has his own questions, right? Right. We just got here after all. It wouldn't hurt to take a look around. Then go have a walk around town. There are Heartless, but that's no problem for you. So you know I can fight. I can't say I remember, but I'm starting to believe. Key to truth. Get bonked, nerds. Keyblade being a blunt instrument always entertains me. Like, I'm gonna make you hurt. Door open. Well, what do you know? It's Sora. Well, what do I know? It's Sid. Wait, what am I saying? I don't know you. But you do look like a Sora, but with a bit spiky hair and baggy pants. I guess I just call him like I see him. It's okay, Sid. That's my name. So you've heard of me. Can't say I'm surprised. Anyway, maybe you can help me out. Where am I supposed to be? Somewhere in this town? Your friend, huh? Lately all this town sees is heartless. Yeah, about that. Can't even take 2 steps without getting attacked. Yeah, about that. This plaza's the worst. Word is we'll have a jumbo-sized heartless on our hands when that bell rings. If you value your hide, you'll get out of here while the getting's good. Gosh, maybe he's right. Don't you want to see the Heartless? No, we don't. Also, yeah, if you're going to, like, try and hold the Keyblade, like, as a sword, you'd have to, like, hold it sideways, or, like, have, like, the metal guard thing awkwardly up against your wrist or the back of your arm. Like, literally just, like, cut off one of the sides and it'll be fine. The bell? Sora, look out! I remember you. You were in Kingdom Hearts.
Let's go! Free! Let's go! Here!
Hey, what's this?
Here! Heal! Let's go!
Oh, this is the normal color scheme?
Heal! Goofy! Come on!
Yeah, in Final Mix, it was like,
Goofy! Come on!
it looked a lot more like a Gundam.
Goofy! Come on! Free!
Use ally green cards as the first stock. You can use stocks as 0 consequences, those are single use anyway. Oh, like I'm guaranteed to not trigger a sight and lose a card?
Heal!
First stock doesn't recharge. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Free!
Also, I seem to be running out of cards a lot. I thought they said that when I stocked 3 cards, it only made them stop regenerating if I triggered a slide.
Free!
Well, the good news is it looks like it doesn't take longer than 3 things to regenerate. Good to know. I'll have to be more careful about that in the future. I was genuinely under the impression that,
Freeze!
it was only slights. Well, learning moment. This is fine. Luckily they can't interrupt me recharging.
Freeze! Here!
I don't seem able to actually slot green cards. That's unfortunate.
Here! Freeze! Heal!
I just say it? What do I say? Oh, they can't get interrupted? No, I can't. Like, I can get hit while recharging, but like, I can't be card broken while recharging is what I mean.
Here!
Hopefully I've got an infinite supply of these Mickey cards. They are available in abundance. Here we go, problem solved. Guard armor. So your friend wasn't here? No, I don't think I'll find him in this town. But he's somewhere in this castle, I just know it. Castle? Like this whole town's the size of a humongous castle? Huh, that's rich. He's probably right, Sid. We might not understand what's going on, but Sora does. He can see that reality is bigger than just this world. I wish I was that sure. You'll be okay, Sora. No matter what shape reality takes, you can handle it. I may not remember you, but I know you in my heart. Leon. Take care, Sora. I'm a little lost, but best of luck anyway. What's wrong? I don't have all the answers, but there's something I thought you should know. Your memories created this town, right? That's what the guy who gave me the card said. If that's true, then this town is just a figment of your mind. And so are we. But you can't be a figment. You're standing right here. The town is here, too. But I'm not really me. I don't remember the things that I should. I sense things I shouldn't. Sora, beware your memories. In the journey to come, you'll be faced with more illusions. Sometimes the shadows of your memory will deceive you, try to lead you astray. So, what exactly does that mean? I'm just another illusion, Sora. The truth is out of my reach. Don't say stuff like that, it's depressing. No, Sora, you mustn't let illusions distract you from what's truly important. Okay. Sora! Are you ready to go? Yeah, be right there. And she's gone. Well, Aerith, I'd better be going. Aerith? What about her? She's gone. I was just talking to her and now she's gone. Aerith left with Leon and the others, remember? Huh? You were standing here by yourself. We wondered what was going on. So this is what she meant. I will say at least Castle Oblivion's very pretty. Well, Sora, did you enjoy meeting your memories? It was good to see everyone again. But why show me an illusion? What do you want from me? That depends on what you have to give. Boo. What do you want? I got bored, what with you hogging the hero. Perhaps you'd like to test him? Perhaps I would. Looks like it's my show now, Keyblade Master. My name is Axel. Committed to memory. You look more like Blaze the Hedgehog. Sure. Good, you learn quickly. So, Sora, now that we're on a first-name basis. Don't go dying on me. Wait, Blaze was a cat. Who am I thinking of? Is like a red hedgehog in like the comics or something. Alright, boss fights are a lot easier when you don't accidentally throw out all your cards. And he's dead. And I'll never see him again. Obtained world cards. More cards? Huh, they look kind of like the card that made Traverse Town. Then we need these to go on. Correct. I thought I killed you. Axel. After an introduction like that, you don't think I'd just give up the ghost? So you were just testing our strength. Congratulations, Sora, you passed. You're ready to take on Castle Oblivion. Follow your memories, trust what you remember, seek what you forget. And you will find somebody very special. You mean Riku and the King? Well, I don't know. You'll just have to give some more thought to who's most important to you. Our most precious memories lie deep in our hearts, out of reach. But you can find yours, Sora. Where? How? The light within the darkness. You've lost sight of it, Sora. You've forgotten something. They're probably talking about Kairi. You don't stand to go switch hands? That's from, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist Kingdom. Thank you for the hydration. Yeah, it's like a guy pretending to be like Kaiba's ghost after Yugi killed him. Light? I don't understand. Would you like a hint? Well, Sora? No, I want to figure it out for myself. And if you get in my way, he won't. We won't let him. That's my kind of answer. Just what I'd expect from the Keyblade Master. But be forewarned, when your sleeping memories awaken, it may no longer be you. Yeah, when I wake up, I'm gonna be Roxas. If we face Axel again, you can lead him to me. Gosh, you think there are more where Axel and that other guy came from? Yeah, there's probably like 11 of them or something. Moving to another floor erases all the rooms you've created. If you return to this floor later, you'll need to make new rooms using new map cards. Huh. Something wrong, Jiminy? What Axel said's been bothering me. What could he have meant by you may no longer be you? Oh, he meant that I'll turn into Roxas. Come on, how can I be anybody besides me? I know. Still, it always pays to be careful. Yeah, just about anything could happen here in Castle Oblostomine. Oblivion. Right, what you said. We'll be fine. Whatever they're cooking up together, we can handle it. Hey, remember that other castle we explored together? With all the contraptions? Yeah, Hollow Bastion. When was that? Contraptions? I don't remember any castle like that. What was it called? Gosh, what was it again? Holler... I forget. Oh, for Pete's sake. You sure you didn't make it up? I don't think so. Are we gonna, like, forget all of the old worlds, like, from reverse order? The swirling sphere in front of Sora is called a warp point. You can freely move to and from floors that you've already completed. Stand here and press A to open the world map menu. Speaking of Pete, has he ever showed up in Kingdom Hearts? I'm pretty sure he does. Don't quote me on that, though. We'll be here all week if we wait for Goofy to remember. Arrow, Halo, that's funny. Why can't I remember? For Gore. You just like me for real? I can choose one. Olympus Coliseum might give me stuff. I like stuff. You hated Monster in Kingdom Hearts 1 as a kid? I hated Monster in Kingdom Hearts 1 as an adult. Look, an announcement. Well, I'll be. It's for some sort of contest. They're calling it the Olympus Coliseum Survival Cup. Contenders have to run an obstacle course battling each other along the way. And listen to this, the great hero Hercules will also complete for the cup. It says here that he's never been beaten except for those times that I beat him in Kingdom Hearts 1. Sounds like fun. Why don't we enter too? I thought you'd say that. Whenever there's a contest, you're raring to go join up. You're gonna compete even if we don't, right? There's actually a trick to Monster in Kingdom Hearts 1. If you go through the sphincters that are green, you end up where you want to go. Uh-huh. I guess we better tag along then. Hold it, everybody, there's more. Only contenders who finish the preliminary course may enter the main competition. It says the preliminary course is just ahead. Then what are we waiting for? Let's go. Yeah, like if you don't know about the color trick, Monstro is basically a teleporter maze. Whoa, wait just a minute, what is this? Hercules is the model of true strength and gallantry, the perfect hero? Oh, he's perfect, alright, perfectly infuriating. Just thinking about that little sunspot makes me boil. Ah, I'd like to send him to the underworld permanently. Which is why you hired me. Oh, hey, look, it's Cumulus. That's right, you're my man, Cloud. I still love Cloud's Kingdom Hearts design. Your job is to beat Hercules in the games, and once you've got him cornered, finish the job. Do that for me, and you restore my lost memories, as we agreed. You have my word. What was I gonna say? I forget. Probably wasn't important.
Here! Here! Goofy! Here! Donald! Freeze!
I like how the collection of things keeps blocking skills for the whole time that it's playing out.
Here!
It's kinda cool. On Bounty.
Here! Here!
I do like bounties.
Donald!
Okay, so big guys can't be hurt from the front.
Donald! Here! Here! Freeze!
But I can just blow them up, so it's fine.
Here! 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 Here!
Oh, another calm bounty. Nice. Stun surrounding enemies with a single attack. What do I need here? I think that I've got it. Alright, I need a green one. Alright. So I don't understand. Huh? Where did you come from? Don't tell me you guys finished the prelims. Yeah, totally did. We're gonna take a 5-minute break here, actually. Please use this time to refill your beverage, go to the bathroom. Anything that would take you about 5 minutes. I will see you shortly. I returned. That was actually closer to 6 minutes, but who's counting? We sure did, and now we want to go for the cup. Well, you came to the right place. I'll thank you for the head pats. Not that you stand a chance against Herc. Why not? Because he's Herc. 2 words. You ain't heroes. You're wrong. Yeah, he said 3 words, technically 4 if you count contractions as their expanded value. Not bad. I mean, how can we prove we're heroes unless you give us a chance? He's right, though. They cleared the prelims. I think they deserve a shot. Huh, you got a point there, Herc, but still. Of course, we could always cancel the games. Cancel them? What for? Oldvale's prelim course was so hard nobody else could finish it. Is that right? Then it's settled. Let us compete and you won't have to cancel the games. How about it, Phil? Okay, you got me over a barrel, so fine. Here's how it works, kid. It's Sora, not Kid. Alright. Sora, since your team and Hercules are the only contenders. They're not. The games have a new challenger. The name's Cloud. The more the merrier. So wait, hold on. He gave me like a bunch of crap and was like, hey, no, you can't come in. Cloud just and he's just like, yeah, no, that's fine. Like, what's going on there? That's not fair. Now the games will really be something to see. I'm looking forward to this. You don't expect me to pull any punches. Hey, as long as you don't expect me to take them. Let's give it our best. Whatever. Okay, let's get this show on the road, but first I gotta explain a few rules. Rule number 1, first one through the obstacle course wins. Rule number 2, in the event of a tie, a battle will determine the winner. Rule number 3, you can interfere with your opponents on the course. And finally, rule number 4, all challengers have to give it everything they got. Alright, enough of the spiel. On your marks, get set. Go. Team Q guidance. I feel like Kingdom Hearts characters are something you're not necessarily going to know if you're a kid playing these for the first time. Like, good luck finding a kid that doesn't know Disney characters, but... Final Fantasy was like a bit higher age rated. Though I guess it would depend on your household.
Goofy!
Marshall Waking.
Here! Tunnel! Here! Here! Free! Tunnel!
Yeah, thanks for telling me about using green cards to not lose my other cards. Potentially had to figure it out, but I didn't have to, and it wasn't it was kind of backseating, but like it was actually fine, so it's fine. I'm not not sure what the difference is between this thing and this thing. They both look like healing. I can presume that one's potion and the other one's cure. But like, is there a meaningful difference? Potion is instant card restore. Ah, interesting. What have I got? Not the one I need. I was thinking super cards too. Oh geez, looks like I can actually just like head at my decks here. Alright. Magic comes back items though, good to know. Inflict fire damage, cure HP, inflicts damage on enemies. Extend the range of attack cards, I presume that this is passive. Move cards, add cards. Oh, here we are. I was looking at the wrong side of the screen. Cure restores HP. Put available attack cards with no charge time. Inflict ice damage. Alright, looks like there's lots of room in the deck as well, so... let's just put everything in. Don't have enough CP. I see the problem. Alright, how do I remove a... oh, come over here. Alright. Problem solved. You don't need healing. We're too powerful. Oh, Kingdom Key. Oh no, that's terrifying. Oh, I see. In here, the, attack cards have their values boosted. That's cool. Alright, alright. So I bet Calm Bounty just gives me a bunch of items. Simba seems kind of strong. Let's see. Meeting ground, I presume that this raises the rate at which friends appear. Also, now I see more of the value of, like, farming up, like, cards so that I'm not wasting high-value map door cards. Okay, so Simba doesn't count as an attacking card, which makes sense, I suppose. They throw bananas. Interesting. Oh, shoot.
Here! Here!
I got greedy immediately.
Here!
Hello.
Take that! Goofy! Donald! Here! Freeze!
Moments reprieve. Probably generates a save station. What about slights? Has the game not told me? I am willing to be informed.
Here! Here! Power!
Given that my attacking cards are buffed, this seems like a good place to farm. On bounty. Stocking 2 or 3 of the same spell / summon ally makes them stronger. Good to know. Makes sense, but yeah, like, I was not explicitly told that, I'm pretty sure. I'm kind of just mashing hay, not gonna lie. Beaming darkness. Right, and calm bounty is Blizzard Raid. Oh, wow, okay. This is fine. Gosh, that was nice of him to wait for us to catch up. He's not waiting. Remember rule number 3? You can interfere with your opponents on the course. He's looking to narrow the field. You can put that away. I'm not looking for a fight with you, so keep walking. See? He was waiting for us to catch up. Well, we've caught up. Let's take him up on his offer and keep going. I don't see a downside. Listen, are you sure? I'm not here for the cup, just Hercules. Today he loses more than the competition. If you're about to do a crime, don't confess it before it's already done. You don't mean... But why? What did he do to you? This is business. Stay out of it. Go win your cup. Sora, none of the people here are real. You don't need to defend them. Do you realize what you're doing? Rule number 3, you can interfere with your opponents, right? You're not the only one who wants to fight Hercules. Big mistake. Oh, he's so cool. Oh, my bones. Also Simba's bones, apparently. Cross slash. Oh no. Oh, thank you for the hydration. Oh, shoot. That was a waste. Omni slash. I probably don't want to get hit by that. Please stop hitting me with Omni Slash.
Here. Here.
That's got a lot of really high numbers in his deck. I wonder how I get more cards, because, like,
Here.
and again, I guess I got most of them from drops at this point. But like, getting some really good ones would be nice.
Goofy. Heal.
Am I asking or wondering out loud?
Power.
Like I say, I kind of presume that either I get them from rooms like the one I just made, or like from enemy drops.
Here. 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 Fire.
Looks like waiting for him to be out of cards so that he can't do anything as a valid strat. Give. Hi, Potion. Hello to you as well, Potion. Man, he's gone. Where did Cloud go? He headed for the finish line. We better go after him. Right. It's like, I lost, making me the victor. Wait, these things just explode? Problem solved, let's go. Never mind.
Power.
No, yeah, they do just explode. Awesome. Problem solved. I love it when the trash takes itself out. No, Steve, they explode. Oh, that is a concern. Good over some money, good to know. Key to truth. You just need a red card. Is a zero card able to open anything here too, or is it just like weak? You can probably open anything if I were to guess. No, like I knew that it was asking for like any red. I meant like in general. Like, can a zero card open any number? You lost. Give it up, Cloud. We're not done yet. I can't guarantee your safety if we keep going like this. You better worry about yourself. Looks to me like you're slowing down a bit. Ugh. Don't worry, I'll back you up. Sora? Get all the backup you want. I'm gonna finish you and get back my memories. Your memories? Now, Cloud, we don't want to spill the beans. Fun fact about Hades, specifically, like the Hades actors who work at Disney World, they actually have makeup to make their skin purple. And then there's like clever use of like colored lighting to make Hades look either blue or red, depending on how he's acting. So like he can like actually change by like changing the lighting. Now, Cloud, we don't want to spill the beans. Hades, you! Looks like you oversold yourself, Cloud. All you did was wear him down. This doesn't look good for your performance rating. Let me put it this way. You, my spiky friend haired, or you, my spiky-haired friend, are fired. But my memories, we had a deal. Did you really think you could get back your lost memories just like that? Get a grip. Why, you... I said you're through. This time I'll take care of Hercules myself. Hey? Rule number 5, it's never too late to enter the games. Hades, you were behind this from the start. Cloud may have failed to take you out, but he did break you down. Time for plan B. Pack your pie to her, because you just want a free trip to the underworld paid by me. Hold it, hothead. Sora, no. Come on, Herc, how can we go one-on-one if you're in the underworld? Good point, kid. Guess you'll just have to go with him. I will say, Disney's Hercules is like a gross mischaracterization of the actual god. Rule number 6, there are no rules. Nyaha. Like, actual Hades is a very chill dude.
Here! 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 Here!
Oh, he mad. Oh, he blocked my healing. That's not good. Better not play Hades? Okay, I won't.
Heal!
Shit, he's blocking my healing. When was my last save? These numbers are so high.
Heal!
There we go.
Breathe! Here! Here!
Probably need to be using, stacked things against him.
Here! 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 Heal!
He's just straight up not looking at the numbers that he's got. Is it easier to break his slice? Oh, that is a good idea. Using it to cancel a combo didn't even occur to me.
Power! Heal!
Ow, my bones. Please desist.
Heal! Power!
Yeah, my healing keeps not going off. Okay, whatever. So, like, I can change the order of my cards? Alright. That's potentially useful. If by potentially I mean that's useful. Oh, it only drops me directly out front? That's really convenient, actually. I figured it would send me back to the last save spot. But yeah, thanks for the advice, Jigsaw. More evidence for the entire deck full of zeros being a good idea. Is there a way to skip cutscenes? Sitting through this every time would probably get tiresome.
Fire!
Oh, he recovers off of fire damage. Alright.
Take that! Take that! Take that!
Freeze! Here!
Take that!
Here! Here!
Okay, this guy's pretty tough. I wonder if I'm like meant to grind before fighting him.
Here! Here! Here!
Take that!
Heal!
Take that!
Here!
He's not got enough cards to do anything. Never mind.
Here! Here!
Oh, I accidentally put Simba in the thing. Oops.
Free!
Actually didn't mean to do that.
Take that!
Power!
Bye, Simba. I should probably deliberately burn fire, come to think of it.
Take that! Take that!
Here! Fire! Heal!
Take that!
Here! Here!
For some reason, I don't seem to be getting friend cards at all. Which is kind of how I would have planned to handle this.
Here!
Oh, hey, friend card.
Take that!
Goofy! Here! Here!
Take that!
Heal!
Take that! Take that!
Here! Here! Free! Heal!
Take that!
Here! Here!
Let me give a suggestion to make it easier.
Here!
Do I need the help? Yeah, I feel like I got him.
Take that!
Here! Free! No!
Take that!
Here!
There we go. And he's dead. Think. I got Hades. What? The games are cancelled? How come? Well, because there was an attempted murder, you see. 3 words. Everyone's pooped. Wait a minute, that was only 2. You gotta be kidding. What about my match with Hercules? I'm sorry, Sora, but you wouldn't want me to compete in this condition. Let's have a match when I'm fit again. Can you wait? Okay, I'll hold you to that. Then it's settled. Sora, over here. He's coming around. You okay? Yeah. Sorry I messed up your games. Hey, I hope you get your memories back. Forget about what Hades said. Sometimes the tiniest thing can make you remember stuff that you forgot years ago. Usually when you did something cringe and it keeps you up at night. If it's an important memory, there's no way it could ever be gone forever. That's what I think anyway. That's for you, for helping me out. Sure you don't want to just come with us instead? Sorry, not interested. I got Cloud. What does Cloud do? Hades makes me do more damage when I'm low on health. Cloud is a summon. Metal Gear reference. Big ladder. Oh, and we're done. Awesome. What is it, Goofy? It's that castle I mentioned earlier. I'm sure I didn't make it up. That was the castle where Sora used the Keyblade to free Kyrie's heart. Then he disappeared for a while, remember? I'll never forget how worried I was. Oh yeah, when I turned into a Heartless. Wait, that happened in a castle? You forgot? Well, I remember it perfectly. What was the castle called then? Easy, it was... Hey Jiminy, you wrote down everything that happened in your journal, right? Every letter. I finished off the first volume right before we got to this castle. Let's see if I can find the old book. Ah, here it is. Let's have a look. This isn't possible. All the entries have vanished. Every page blank. What? How could this happen? I take such good care of my journals. All that hard work gone. What kind of castle is this? I don't think Jiminy would erase his own journal. Let's help Jiminy rewrite the journal once we get out of the castle. She's very cute. Oh, thank you for the hydration. Something funny is going on. How could everything Jiminy wrote vanish like that? Maybe it's not just stuff we write down. Goofy said we've been to some other castle, but I don't remember it at all. None of us really do. Maybe we don't remember because those memories are gone. Sora, they literally told you that you'd lose memories here. Gone? Don't be ridiculous. Wait, remember what that guy in the black hood said? In this place, to find is to lose, and to lose is to find. He was talking about memories. So if we keep going, we'll lose our memories. No wonder they call it Castle Oblivion. So the higher we go, the more we forget? What if we forget everything and can't get it back? I'd forget Riku and Kairi, too. Maybe we should turn back. Don't worry. We might forget where we've been or what we saw, but we won't forget our friends. What makes you so sure? Sora, when you turned into a Heartless, did you forget about us? Of course not. I'd never forget you. Well, see, there you go. No matter what happens, you won't forget your friends. Yeah, you're right. Thanks, Goofy. I guess there's nothing to be scared of after all. So let's go. Hey, Donald, back when I was a Heartless, who was the one who clobbered me, That's what you should be forgetting. Haha. Okay, so like I permanently decide the order of the worlds. That's kind of cool. If you're still remembering the silly stuff, we'll be fine. There's no way we could ever forget our friends. Hi, I've got a card. Let's do Wonderland. Hey, somebody's coming. I'm late, I'm dreadfully, awfully late. The Queen will roast me for dinner. Oh, now I'm hungry. If I'm late for the trial, it'll be off with my head next. What do you mean, off with your head? Oh, my fur and whiskers, I'll never make it. Off with his head? For such a peaceful-looking place, it sounds pretty dangerous. Fun fact, I've never actually seen Alice in Wonderland, the Disney film. A faint key of beginnings. Speaking of movies that I've never seen, I've also never seen The Fox and the Hound, and I really ought to. As a kid, I actually really wanted to, I just wasn't allowed to. And I never found out why. Oh, shoot, wrong button. I forgot that Cloud has an edgy Batwing in this form. Emotionally traumatic children's movie? I mean, boxes are involved, how bad could it be? Just have a fox friend and they're your friend forever. Strong initiative. I don't think I've ever seen the sequel to The Wizard of Oz, either. I should probably stop, putting all of my really high numbers into slides, come to think of it. Oh well, this is fine. It's reprieve. Yeah, sure. But again, I guess I'll just have to open another door after. Oh well. Three or higher. Yeah, like most movies I haven't seen. Not much of a movie watcher.
Goofy! Here! Here! Here!
Which always baffles people when they like reference things that quote unquote everybody has seen, and I'm just like, I've never seen that. I've never actually seen Atlantis either. There was another one that I wanted to watch as a kid but wasn't allowed to, unfortunately. Never any story. I think that was on TV at one point, but I wasn't allowed to watch it.
Power!
Don't watch the British story, read it. I mean, I am more of a reader, but like, why do you say this? Is the movie bad?
Here! Donald!
Scriptwriter didn't agree with the book's message. Can you clarify in like a non-spoilery way? Also, I should heal.
Heal! Power!
It's like Simba can't be blocked. That's good. Looks like summons are probably the way to handle those big guys in general.
Fire!
Stagnant space. 3 attack cards with total value 24 to 26, so I presume that the previous ones had like other values. Completely different themes and ending. Okay, so they're like different stories basically.
Fire! Power! Power!
I feel inclined to make a deck entirely filled with summon creatures. It feels like it could be fun, or easily countered.
Here! 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 Here!
Sleeping Darkness.
Here! Here! Goofy! Fire! Power!
Summons are expensive, yeah, but I keep getting my cards back, so it's fine.
Goofy!
I'm Scorehead. Lasting Days. Are you the door I need? No, you are not. Bounty, please and thank you. It. Oh, stop. Oh, wait, stop was really, really strong in Kingdom Hearts 1. Hold on. Need to pull 3 CP out of my deck somewhere, may as well do it there. Oh, looks like there's a 99 card maximum. Alright. I also see now that I've got something called Moogle Points. sure that'll come up later. More treasure, please. Strong Blizzard, nice. I could potentially combo that with my other Blizzard. Five and 7. That little indicator in the bottom right telling me which ones I have available is really, really nice. Well, Alice is cute in this art style. Gosh, looks like some kind of get-together. What's the occasion? Hey, this must be that trial the White Rabbit was talking about. Alice, do you understand the charges against you? Of course not. I've done nothing wrong. Feigning ignorance, dear. You are charged with aiding the Heartless who threaten this kingdom. Fiddlesticks, where's the evidence? The evidence is I forgot. That's the evidence. Because you, Alice, are the one who stole my memory. Did I ever play Final Fantasy Tactics Advance? I have not, but it's on my list of games to play. Seems like my kind of thing. We can't rid the Kingdom of Heartless until we get Her Majesty's memory back. This is a serious crime. This is so unfair. So what if you're a queen? Don't blame me just because you can't remember things. Such insolence, you're talking to the Queen of Hearts. And I'd have let you go had you apologized straight away. What a brazen thief. Who's the brazen one? Zora? The court has reached a verdict. The sentence is death. Hold it. This trial is a farce. You should investigate before you arrest innocent people. What is the meaning of this? Are you saying Alice didn't steal my memory? I suppose you know who the real culprit is then? Huh? Speak or else Alice's sentence will be carried out. Now out with it. Who's the thief? I'm the thief. Say again. Gosh, really? Course not, but what else am I supposed to say? Cards, seize them all. Okay, that's witty. I like that. Lizara? And they're dead. Oh, poor Cloud. I definitely go for some more higher numbers on my spammables. But I see the appeal in, doing a bunch of slights in a row. Like, I don't want to lose my cards. Yeah, if I weren't playing on stream, I'd probably play a Guard Soldier. I'd probably do more grinding. Also there. Phew. Hey, where's Alice? Looks like she escaped. Perhaps she did, but you won't. I think we've been trumped. I mean, this is a first trial. Run. Obtain the key of guidance.
Donald! Freeze!
Why did Sora point that way?
Here! Let's go!
Yeah, if it's not a boss fight, I don't really lose much,
Here!
so it's fine.
Fire! Stop! Here! Here! Freeze!
And they exploded. Strong initiative.
Ha!
Wasn't there like a save point around here somewhere? I vaguely recall seeing a save point around here somewhere. Wait. There's a save point right here. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it each and every time. Next scheduled stream is on Sunday. It'll probably be Pikmin 1. The next time I'm playing Chain of Memories will be on Monday. I hope you have an absolutely wonderful night, and I hope to see you again. Good night.